Minho smelled a strange cologne on Jisoo's clothes, like a ghost in their apartment. It was a small sign, but it made Minho worry. He didn't understand what was happening at first. He saw Jisoo hide her phone when he walked in, turning off the screen quickly. She started working late at the office, coming home tired and saying she had too much work. Minho wanted to trust her. He loved her and hoped everything was okay. But he started to feel more and more worried, like something was wrong in their life together. The worry grew slowly, making their love feel weaker. The truth finally came out on a rainy Tuesday in Seoul. The day felt as sad as Minho did. Minho came home early, hoping to surprise Jisoo and make her happy. Instead, he found a hotel receipt in her coat pocket. The receipt was from a night she said she was working late. The name on the receipt was not Jisoo's. Minho's hands shook as he held the paper. His worst fear was true. Suddenly his home felt strange and cold. That night, Minho showed Jisoo the receipt and put it on the table between them. Jisoo didn't say anything. Her silence said it all. She cried, but it was because she got caught, not because she was sorry. Jisoo said she felt lost and found someone else. Her words did not help Minho feel better. Minho listened, feeling his heart break with every word. The love and future he dreamed of was gone, broken in front of him. He felt empty inside where love and trust used to be. In that painful moment, Minho changed inside. He looked at Jisoo and saw a stranger, not the woman he loved. He was not angry, just very sad and sure of what he had to do. Minho knew he could not stay. He could not build a future on lies. He told Jisoo in a calm voice that it was over. Minho packed one bag and left behind the photos and memories. Leaving was the hardest thing Minho ever did, but he knew it was the only way to take care of himself. The days that followed were a blur of heartache and silence. Junho moved into a small, sterile office tel that echoed with his loneliness. Every morning he woke up expecting to see Soojin beside him, and every morning the empty space was a fresh reminder of his loss. The pain was a physical weight pressing down on his chest, making it hard to breathe. He threw himself into his work, not for ambition, but for distraction. Long hours at his desk were a refuge from the memories that haunted his quiet evenings. He designed buildings, creating structures of steel and glass, while his own life felt like it was collapsing into rubble. He was building a world for others while his own was in ruins. He worked with a quiet, relentless determination. The grief became his fuel, the heartbreak his motivation. While others left the office at 6, Junho stayed, poring over blueprints and schematics until the city lights twinkled outside his window. His colleagues saw his dedication, but they did not see the sorrow that drove him. He channeled all the love and energy he once gave to Soojin into his projects, his focus becoming laser-sharp. Each successful proposal, each completed building was a small victory against the despair that threatened to consume him. It was a slow, arduous process of rebuilding, not just his career, but his sense of self-worth. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, things began to change. His hard work did not go unnoticed. A promotion came, then another. He started his own small architectural firm in Seoul, taking on ambitious projects that others shied away from. The loneliness was still there, a constant companion on the long road he traveled, but it was now joined by a flicker of pride. He was creating something new, something that was entirely his own. The long nights were no longer just an escape from pain. They were filled with the thrill of creation and the promise of a different future. He was laying a new foundation, one brick at a time, built on his own strength and resilience. Years passed. The sharp edges of his heartbreak began to soften, worn down by the relentless pace of his work and the passage of time. The small firm he had started grew into a successful enterprise, known for its innovative designs and unwavering quality. He was no longer just a man surviving a broken heart. He was an architect of his own destiny. The pain had carved new depths into his soul, but it had also revealed a strength he never knew he possessed. He had walked through the fire of betrayal and emerged not unscathed but stronger, forged in the flames of his own personal tragedy. Junho's name became synonymous with success. The buildings he designed reshaped city skylines, monuments of glass and steel that stood as testaments to his vision. Money, once a concern, now flowed in abundance. He moved from a small office tel into a beautiful home he had designed himself, with wide windows that let in the morning light over the Han River. He had everything he had ever dreamed of professionally: wealth, respect, and a company that bore his name. Yet, amidst the accolades and the financial security, a quiet emptiness remained. His magnificent house felt large and hollow, its rooms filled with fine furniture but devoid of warmth and laughter. He had built an empire, but he had built it alone. The fortune was a byproduct of his relentless drive to outrun his past, a shield he had constructed to protect his still tender heart. He attended lavish parties and charity galas, surrounded by people who knew his name but not his story. He smiled, he shook hands, he played the part of the successful tycoon, but he kept a careful distance. He had learned the hard way that vulnerability was a risk, and he was not ready to take that chance again. The ghost of Sujin's betrayal lingered, a silent warning against letting anyone get too close. He trusted blueprints and contracts, not promises whispered in the dark. He often found himself staring out at the city from his penthouse office, watching the countless lights representing countless lives. He had achieved more than he ever thought possible, yet he felt a profound sense of isolation. Success, he realized, was a cold comfort on a lonely night. It could not hold his hand or share a quiet moment of understanding. It could not fill the void left by a broken promise. The scars on his heart had healed, but they had left him guarded and wary. He had mastered the art of building structures, but he had forgotten how to build connections with people, how to trust in the fragile architecture of a human heart. His wealth provided him with every material comfort, but it couldn't buy back the years he had spent in self-imposed exile from love. He traveled the world, saw its wonders, but saw them through a solitary lens. Each beautiful sunset was a reminder of who wasn't there to share it with him. He realized that his journey from heartbreak had led him to a gilded cage. He was free from the pain of the past, but he was also trapped by the walls he had built around himself. He had won the battle against his sorrow, but he feared he had lost the war for his own happiness in the process. One crisp autumn morning at a small independent coffee shop in Seoul he frequented, his carefully constructed world was gently disrupted. Her name was Ji-Yun, a librarian with kind eyes and a smile that reached them. She didn't know his name or his background. She only saw the man who ordered the same Americano every day. She struck up a conversation about the book he was reading, a simple, genuine interaction that caught him off guard. There was no pretense in her voice, no agenda in her questions. For the first time in years, he felt seen not for what he had, but for who he was. Her presence was a quiet, unassuming light in his solitary world. He found himself returning to the coffee shop not just for the caffeine, but for the chance to speak with her. Their conversations grew from brief exchanges about books to longer talks about life, dreams, and the simple joys of a quiet afternoon. Ji-Yun was patient and understanding, her loyalty evident in the way she listened, in the steadfastness of her friendship. She slowly chipped away at the walls he had built, not with force, but with consistent kindness. He found himself opening up, sharing pieces of his story, and she met his vulnerability not with judgment, but with empathy. She was the calm after his long and turbulent storm. One evening, as they walked through a park with leaves crunching under their feet, he realized he was in love. It wasn't a sudden, dramatic fall, but a slow, gentle unfolding, like a sunrise after a long, dark night. With Ji-Yun, love felt safe. It felt like coming home. He saw in her the loyalty and honesty he had once thought were lost to him forever. She loved him for his quiet strength, his hidden kindness, and the resilient heart that had endured so much. She was not intimidated by his success, she was simply happy for his happiness, a partner in the truest sense of the word. Minjun learned that true fortune wasn't measured in bank accounts or skyscrapers, but in shared laughter and quiet companionship. He had walked through the deepest valleys of heartbreak and betrayal, but the journey had ultimately led him here, to a love that was real and true. His past was not erased, but it no longer defined him. It was simply a part of the long, winding road that had brought him to Ji-Yun. Holding her hand, Minjun knew he had finally found what he had been searching for all along, not just success, but a profound and lasting happiness, a love built not on broken pieces, but on a foundation of healing, trust, and a hopeful new beginning.